So it's safe to say that this is the worst I have ever looked on this channel. I have just gotten home from work after having my third panic attack of the week. My shift started at 8 AM and I was totally fine. But I still ended up hyperventilating in the training room for about half an hour with the person who does all the training in the store, who is absolutely lovely, and she kept checking on me even though she was doing an induction for the Christmas times. She kept checking on me, and she got my line manager and my a first aider, and she brought me Haribos because she was like, you need sugar because you have not eaten and you're shaking and you're sweating. I have mascara. Look, just how. So yeah, I was sat on a chair, bent over, unable to feel my head, hands, feet, any part of my legs. Everything had pins and needles, and I had no energy to stay up. The table was in my neck, and I didn't care because it was some sort of stability to. Otherwise, I would have just fallen on the floor, frankly. Luckily, with being Saturday, my mum could pick me up. She was on her way to the hairdressers. I feel like I've been waiting for a breakdown, and it happened. I know I want to sleep and cry a little bit more, but I've cried a lot already. I know I really look like I'm in higher spirits than I am, but I am just look at me. I don't look good. That was my mum ringing to see if I wanted her to stay home with me, because today it is Thursday. So far I have done very well this week. Last Wednesday I asked my supervisor if I could drop my hours from 30 down to 20, and that started on Monday this week, but on Monday I had training for 2 hours, so I didn't have a full shift really. But I've just worked 3 days this week, and I've had to call in sick today, because I literally just burst into tears because I just felt really anxious. I took a tablet and that didn't help, and I just feel I can't, there's no words. I've got work tomorrow, and tomorrow is my 20th birthday. I have work at 9 AM until 1, and it's just a 4-hour shift, which I'm kind of dreading now, because I don't want to be an anxious wreck on my birthday. I'm not that bothered about birthdays anymore, honestly. I know basically everything I'm getting, so it's not like there's excitement of, oh, what am I getting for my birthday, and oh, I get the day off, I can do what I want. It's, I have to get up early, go to work, and then I'm going over to my granddad's straight from work to see him, because usually my gran and granddad would drive over on the afternoon when I was finished school or whatever. Last year they came a bit early because I was working at 6. But my gran is not around now, so he can't drive. He's, really showing his age. He's 88 now, and he's not brilliant. So I'm going over there to see him, and I'm going out for a meal with my family at 7:30. And on Saturday, I'm seeing my best friend Caitlin, and we're going to Nando's. And then there's a bar in Newcastle called The Alchemist, which she's never been to before. I personally like it because I have a virgin mocktail, a mocktail called the Virgin Porn Star, and I just find that incredibly ironic. I love it. But yeah, I've had to call in today. I just felt really sick.
I didn't feel nauseous, but my throat just felt like I was gonna be sick. And I felt like I needed to like retch, and it's not a nice feeling, and I can't sit in a car. I wouldn't have gotten there. I woke into tears because I'm just like feeling so crap all the time. I woke up this morning so tired, and at 9:30 I was like nearly back asleep, and my mum had like called up the stairs and be like, "Are you gonna go in the shower or not?" And I was like, "Yeah," and then I was just like, I felt so sick because I was like on the verge of sleep, and I was just so tired, and I find it so difficult to sleep. I find it so difficult to eat. Like, I don't want to eat. Usually I'd look at a McDonald's and be like, oh yeah, like it's like, you know, I love a McDonald's or a pizza, and I'm just like, you know, like you dream about food. Like I'm a massive foodie, I'm picky, but the foods that I like, I love. You know, a chicken dinner, a Sunday dinner, I'm normally just like Pavlov's dogs over it, like just salivating at the thought of it. And now I'm just like, whatever. It's like food is just something I have to do to keep going and to not feel weak. And from feeling weak, feel anxious. But I find it such a struggle to sit down and eat. Like, I just can't eat a full meal. And it takes me ages to get to sleep. Like, usually I have no problem getting to sleep, and I just don't ever feel rested. I just feel so exhausted. I'm just so drained.
Hey guys, so I guess we have a little bit of catching up to do.
Things aren't brilliant. It's gone to the point now where I'm really struggling to go to work. I'm really struggling to stay there. And it's not the best situation it could be. I was feeling really anxious before every single shift, and my tablets weren't working anymore. And one day I was really anxious before my shift. This is last Wednesday. And I went into the medical room at work before even signing in. I just couldn't go downstairs and work. But I let someone know from my team, and one of the girls came up to see how I was, and I had a bit of a breakdown, I'm not gonna lie, where I just started crying and saying how if anyone asks if I'm okay, I always just say yes, and it's like a default response. Even if I want to say no, or if I'm begging in my head for someone to say, "Are you okay?" so I can say no, I just say yes before my brain has even comprehended that someone's asked me if I'm okay. I just say, yeah, I'm fine. And I wasn't fine at all. The day before, I had gone to the medical room during my shift because I felt really anxious. And when I left to come back and I went onto the shop floor, it was like I was hit in the face by a wall of just complete fear. And when I told her that, she was quite worried. And then I told her some other stuff, and she was even more worried. I should say there is a trigger warning in this video because I am talking about self-harm. So if you don't want to hear about it, skip to this point in the video or just click off altogether. Basically, I have a history of self-harm, and it was when my anxiety was really bad last year, or maybe it was the year before. I can't quite remember. I suppose it's partly last year, partly the year before. It lasted a while. And it started off, I would dig my nails into my hands just when I was really anxious, and it was kind of like, just because when you tense, you kind of, you know, and I have long nails, then natural. And eventually it would kind of help, and it was never a thing I deliberately did, and I didn't kind of connect that it was like the pain that helped. It was just kind of like a reflex. And so yeah, what I did when I realised that that wasn't enough anymore, I started digging my nails into my arm. And I haven't talked about this a lot, honestly, and I'm ashamed of it because I knew it wasn't a good thing. When my brother found out I did that with my hands, he said, "Stop right now, because you'll start self-harm." Like he said, it's a gateway to doing it, because I wasn't doing it with the intent to hurt myself, and I wasn't doing it to cause pain. It was just like a reflex, and the result was that them little half moon bits, like indents, because I had long nails, it wasn't an intent to hurt myself when I started. It's just my brother saw marks on my hands, and obviously it worried him. So that got me worried. But then, yeah, I started doing it on my arm. I have some scarring from that. And it's when I'm really anxious and I can't get myself out of it, or if I have to stay in a situation, it's the only way I can get through. And I went to the hospital to get blood tests and just do a couple of tests for something. Not the summer just been, but some before. So that would be 2015. Was it 2015? Yeah, because I had just turned 18. So yeah, it was like a year and a half ago. And I got them. This is like my mum's choice, but this was the arm that they took the blood from. And I had my sleeve still rolled up. And my mum could see these red marks, and she asked what they were, and I had to tell her. And of course, she was very upset by that. And she asked me to stop then and there. And I did try, and for the most part, I had stopped, and I've been good. But for about a month now, when I'm at work, it is kind of a need to, and it's become a reflex again, where it's, and I don't mean a reflex where I would tense. I mean it's a reflex where my right arm searches, well, my right hand searches for my left arm and will deliberately want to cause me pain. And like, I don't want to be there. So I told this girl at work that, and she said I had to tell Simon, my team leader. So she asked if I wanted to broach the subject with him, or if she wanted her to have a conversation with him first, and she did that. Sent me out in the loading bay. I work in retail, if you hadn't noticed. So I was just working delivery. I didn't have to be on the shop floor or anything. And he came to find me about an hour later, and we went and had a talk, and I told him that I'd been self-harming, and he was very shocked. He was very surprised, because I was just telling him I was fine and that I was doing better from dropping to 20 hours. But he basically said, go get like yourself a cup of coffee, or go like have some fresh air and come back in 20 minutes, because I need to ring HR. And I was like, oh fuck. I like regretted telling him, because I was like, well, this just seems like more trouble than it's worth. But it's not. Like, it's self-harm is a serious thing. Yeah, so came back in, and he told me to go get my phone, and I was gonna ring the doctors. So he sat with me while I rang the doctors, and I got an appointment for 4:30. I finished at 4, but I ended up leaving at 3:30. And he asked me to tell my mum, and I said I would. And he said, I want you to promise me. And then he said, why don't you ring her and ask her to come in, and we'll tell her, like, together. So I said, okay. I rang my mum, because she was off work. She had a really bad cold. She'd called in sick. She was meant to be at work. And she came to get me. And then I was sat in the medical room, because I was feeling really... I'd been anxious earlier that day, and then I had to have a difficult conversation twice. And then I was about to have another one. And I was just like, I can't tell my mum that. Like, I knew she'd be really upset. So I went to go get like chewing gum or something from the locker room. Went back to the medical room, and I saw Simon, and I just said, I'm really sorry, but I cannot do this. Can you just tell her yourself, and I'll just sit in the next room? And he was really nice. He was just like, yeah, are you sure? Like, you want me to tell her? And I just said, yeah. So, because I was feeling like I was gonna be sick, I was that anxious and I was so scared. So yeah, anyway, I told him, went to the doctors, and it was the same doctor who actually put me on propranolol. And he straight away was just like, oh yeah, antidepressants. And I was just like, no. I know people who are on them, I know people who have been on them. And one person who had been on them only for 3 weeks, she said she was sick or feeling sick 24/7 and just came off them because she just had not stopped feeling it like worse yet. The other person is fine, and the other person came off them because she's trying for a baby, and she was so ill not being on them. And I don't mean like because of the side effects of coming off them, I just mean she couldn't cope with her anxiety not on them. I was scared to go on them, and I don't want to be on them. I've completely decided I don't want to be on antidepressants, because when the day comes that I decide I don't want to be on them anymore, I'll be back to square one and not knowing how to deal with my anxiety anymore, and then this whole thing starts again. And I haven't got the time to get worse before I get better. I don't. So I said no. And he was like, well, the propranolol doesn't really work for anxiety. And I was like, well, why the fuck did you put me on them? Like, you're the one who said the beta blockers, because I said no to antidepressants in the beginning. Why did you decide that their beta blockers would work then? So we just upped the propranolol from 10 to 40, which is the highest you can go. I can only take 3 of them in a day at the most. So I took one yesterday before I even left my shift, and my shift was fine. Today, however, wasn't. I think I probably worked 20 minutes. I was there for 2 hours because I had to wait an hour for my mum to finish work to come get me. I just felt really sick. I went down the shop floor and I was there for 5 minutes, and I was like, I genuinely thought I was gonna just throw up in the middle of the floor, and I ran upstairs. And then by the time I got upstairs, that feeling of going to be sick went away. So I'd been off for 4 days because on the Thursday, well, I rang Simon. He asked me to ring because he was in Dalton. I rang him after my doctor's appointment to catch him up. He also gave me the number for Retail Trust, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, so I rang Simon and I just said, I think it's best if I take tomorrow off, and I've got Friday off, so I can have like 2 days to try and get myself back to somewhat normal. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll put you down as a holiday, so at least I don't have that down on like my absence. I'm already above the company benchmark for absence, because on Saturday I tried to go in. I was meant to start at 4, and I went into 2 with my mum to do some Christmas shopping, and we didn't do any. I was in the metro for probably half an hour, and 20 minutes of that was sat in the toilets because I felt so ill with anxiety. And then I was just like, I have to go home. And I ran in from home. I'm really sorry. I have tried to come in. I wanted to go Christmas shopping, and I got here and I just freaked out. I'm so tired all the time. And I just, like yesterday when I went in the shower before I went out, I had like really bad chest pains. I'm gonna sit up so I can like show you probably. But like obviously you got your heart like here, but like just to reference, that's the left side and that's the right side. So I had like really big like ache all the way up here, like it was all the way up to my neck. It just ached when I was in the shower, and that lasted for a little while. The whole time I was in the shower, which is like 20 minutes, and then when I came out, and if I breathed in, it kind of felt weird, and it felt a little tender around here. By the way, I'm freezing. I don't know why. I'm in bed. I've got my dressing gown on. I have a cardigan on. I have a short sleeve top on, and I've got the heating on, and I'm just really cold, and I've had a hot chocolate. So sometimes I get really cold when I've been really anxious. So yeah, I've just been watching Gossip Girl. I'm on season 3, episode 19, and I started on Thursday. So, and today is Tuesday. So I'm doing good. Right, Retail Trust is a charity for anyone who works in retail, and you can call about a bunch of reasons, like so many, but they offer counselling. So Simon gave me this number, and I rang it, and the guy on the phone was absolutely amazing. He advised I get this book. It's Mindfulness: Finding Peace in a Frantic World by Mark Williams and Danny Penman. And it's got, I think, is it a CD or a DVD? Yeah, it's got a CD of meditation. And he just said he had used this and it was really good. And you can get it on Amazon. And I actually saw it in W. H. Smith as well yesterday. So there's that. And then I also got this yesterday. I was looking for it in Waterstones, but I found it in W. H. Smith's. So it's The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck. They also have Get Your Shit Together and You Do You. So You Do You is the newest one, and I saw that one in Waterstones, but I was looking for that one specifically. And I think I'm gonna get Your Shit Together as well at some point. But that one I figured would be the most applicable to me now, because I need to stop giving fucks about everything. So I'll let you know how they go. I'm gonna end this video now because it's 20 minutes long, basically. Well, 19 minutes. And I don't want it to be really long, but I ramble, and I've had a lot to catch you up on. So hopefully I start getting better, because I've just been getting worse. I'm so tired. My heart beats so fast all the time for no reason. And I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to talk to anyone. Like, even just on Facebook, I just don't want to talk to anyone. And I really don't want to leave the house. Like, I mean, just for anything. Even for anything fun. I don't want to leave my house. And we've been seriously considering getting a puppy. I would most likely be the one buying it. But we're looking into getting a Cavapoo, which is a Cavalier King Charles mixed with a poodle, or a miniature toy poodle, which my mum has always really wanted. I am totally fine with either. The hypoallergenics, my mum would prefer. And we are meeting with a cockapoo for a few hours at some point to make sure that, you know, my mum will not have a reaction. She'll find out within a couple hours. If she starts getting itchy, we can't get a dog. And I've said, look, if you are allergic to it still, that's totally fine. But if you're not, then that's great. I might be getting a puppy. I'm really hoping I do. So yeah, I think that's all. I need to catch you at one. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.